Welcome to the Navarr Jenkins Making Gold 101 guide for the World of Warcraft. Whether a new or veteran player, if you're not already loaded with more than enough gold, this guide is for you. We'll cover the basics about making gold in WoW so you always have more than enough for character expenses and to purchase items you want in the game. First, start with a good attitude. A can-do attitude is much more valuable than any in-game tool we can go over in this guide. If you don't believe you can do it, or you don't believe it's worth it, it will not matter how many gold making tips you're given. Realize what you're getting into. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This guide will not teach you how to get rich quick in WoW. I'm not promising you'll gold cap in the next 2 months. In fact, I highly recommend you stay far away from any guys trying to lure you in with a bunch of hype and unrealism. Unless you're doing something illegal that could get your account banned, you probably aren't going to even make 100,000 gold in your first month. It will take some time to build up your gold making on a realm unless you transfer a character there with plenty of gold to start with. Making gold in WoW is similar to making money in real life. It is partially true that it takes gold to make gold. A more accurate way to state this is that it takes plenty of gold to make gold much more quickly and easily, but it is possible to start from scratch. Starting from scratch is going to require more work, however, just like in real life. Unless you have the gold and knowledge to invest, you will need to put in time gathering materials you can sell and or offering services in-game other players are willing to pay for. For example, if you have a mage, you can offer 25 gold ports to any major city for that faction. Depending on server population, you might actually make a fair amount of gold offering services like this. In my experience, the best way to get started making gold is to max a character in both mining and herbalism. If you're totally new to the realm and don't have a max level character, you could take skinning instead of one of the other gathering professions. Whatever combination, it is important to have 2 gathering professions on that farming character. Click the links provided in video for mining, herbalism, and skinning guides to help make leveling these professions faster and easier. You may also level fishing and cooking as secondary professions in addition to your primary gathering professions and make even more gold that way. Click the link to the fishing plus cooking guide for help leveling them together as a source for additional income. As you level the gathering professions, you will obtain plenty of materials to sell at the auction house. Crafting professions need these materials, and I've not yet seen a realm where gathered materials don't sell quickly and easily. You'll not always have to farm materials in WoW to continue making gold, though you may choose to. We'll go over how to use the auction house to make more gold than you ever could gathering, once you have built up the initial gold needed to begin buying in bulk and reselling. Here's the deal. Gathering does take time. Also, don't bot or your account can be banned if Blizzard catches you, and they probably will. You need to have a good idea of what the materials are truly worth on your realm so you don't sell too cheap and waste your time. And also so you don't list items so high no one wants to buy them. I'll go over legal add-ons that will help you greatly in these efforts. So how much time will leveling gathering professions take? Well, that really depends on many different variables, but suffice it to say that the gathering professions are easy to level. It should not take you ridiculous amounts of play time to level them. If it does, you're probably doing something wrong and should do your research and ask for help. I also highly recommend you upgrade the gathering character's flight speed once you have enough gold to do so. Yes, it is a large investment at first, but it will more than pay for itself in short time as you zip around zones much faster. Beware, once you get used to faster flying speed on your gathering character, it will be hard to tolerate the slower speeds on other characters, but it is important to your gold making strategy that you initially hold back making any big purchases like that, especially on vanity items in the game that you don't need, until you have built up a good stash to start investing with. It is worth it in the end, as once you can buy and sell on the auction house in bulk, you can make tons more gold, and then, if you were patient, you'll be able to afford all of the items and perks you want for all of your characters. Here are some tips for making gathering less boring. First, use music. Turn off the WoW in-game music and put on some of your favorite music, unless of course you like the WoW in-game music better. This is one of the ways I gather. This can even be a time of relaxation after a tough day. There's no pressure to perform, like in many other activities in WoW. and you can go at your own pace and just chill out. Also, you can try to socialize while you gather. This may not be as efficient at getting more stacks per hour, but it can definitely make it more enjoyable. Start conversations with WoW friends and guildmates and have fun socializing. Sometimes I'll hop in Ventrilo for voice chat with guildmates or get in a Skype call with a friend. You can also watch a show or movie. This of course requires you to be a good multitasker to be able to pay attention to both fluently. If you have a dual monitor setup, you can have WoW maxed on one screen and the show or movie on the other. If you have one monitor, you can put WoW in windowed mode and shrink it down using some of the monitor for WoW and some for what you're watching. In that case, you may need WoW to take up the larger portion of the screen, so you'll see nodes showing up on your minimap. I especially like to use this tactic with my dual monitor setup while fishing. I find it less enjoyable to try this while gathering ore, herbs, or skins. Take breaks. Gather for 30 minutes to an hour and then take a break. It's better to spread out the gathering like this rather than doing large time blocks that will lead to becoming burnt out. Though it is important to put the effort in so you can eventually be a pro investor at the auction house, it's not worth burning out over. There are two must-have gathering add-ons I highly recommend. First is Gatherer. Click the link provided to get this add-on. Second is Carbonite. Carbonite is useful in many ways, not just for gathering. It has a great map function to replace the default WoW map. It will also allow you to import databases for gathering materials to show you on the map any possible spawn points in that zone. Then you can use the Carbonite map to route the zone for you, letting it determine the most efficient way for you to visit every spawn point in that zone and giving a nice in-game GPS system to guide you from point to point. Here you can see how I use the Carbonite routing function. I have previously imported spawn location database for ore and herbs. You can find instructions on how to download and import such by clicking the link provided now. When using Carbonite routing, you basically want the Carbonite pointer to point up, unless you're gathering from nodes. Once you find glowing nodes on the minimap, you of course can deviate off the path to go get those materials, and then simply return to the route that Carbonite suggests. This concludes part 1 of this guide. Subscribe and check back for part 2, which will go over using the auction house for buying and reselling to make way more gold than you will ever make by gathering alone. If you found this guide useful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with other WoW players.